started, and it's very, very crowded.
It's only a quarter-mile oval, so 31 cars in the figure 8 course. With all those treacherous turns and intersections, makes for some wild and woolly action.
Terrapicchio and Tasso still our leaders, and a lot of contact going on. I think I saw somebody lose a wheel. Ooh.
We got a near miss right there. It's very early on. Traffic begins to spread out, and watch out, that X is going to become one of the busiest roads in America. No problems there, though, as Tasso, Terrapicchio are now being chased down by George Brown. And one of our drivers from Michigan, Bobby Belz, car number 37, has worked his way up towards the front.
Terrapicchio still our leader, and car number 74, Ralph Tasso, number 19. And the cars are getting to be quite spread out. There's number 19, Ralph Tasso. Looks like his lead is widened a little bit. You've got to explain those flags that are on Terrapicchio's car. What are those about?
That's a long tradition with the Terrapicchio family. Gino is a second-generation driver, as I think we have some problems up in turn number 1. We'll get back to that.
That's right. We have a collision up there.
Johnny Zell, way up in the air, and right underneath him is Fred Lemack. Zell, a mailman by trade, and looks as though he wanted to do a little air mail here in the World Championship Figure 8 event. Both drivers unstrapping from the automobile. I think Fred Lemack's a little upset, Leandra.
There he is climbing out of the number 1 car, pointing his finger.
Oh.
He's really mad. Ooh.
Shows off a little soccer form there.
Tough sport to be playing soccer and against iron. All right, keep your eye in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. There you'll see where the mishap takes place.
A couple of cars getting out of shape. And then Fred Lemack and Johnny Zell just had nowhere to go. They get pinched up towards the outer wall. You see Lemack going right underneath Zell's automobile. Zell almost went over on his roof. Luckily, the roll stopped, though, on the left 2 wheels. Zell out of his automobile, picking up his front bumper.
All right, Lemack was really upset with Spencer Hulse because he felt he's the one who started the mishap. But it's a day now for Lemack, and we will be back with more racing as he puts his bumper in the rear window there. Stay with us. Lemack had to call it a day. Right now, let's go down to Marty Reed as we see Fred Lemack's car getting towed from the track.
Fred, what happened out there?
Well, everybody got cornered up in that corner up there, and I came flying by there, and someone gave me a good shove in the back and went right under Johnny Zell in the pen.
It looked like you got out of the car and gave a good kick to somebody.
Yeah, because I had the car stopped, and he just drove right into the back of me and just pushed me right under him.
Tough way to go out.
Yeah, tough way. We might be able to get it fixed.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, back on the track. Unfortunate circumstances for Fred Lemack and Johnny Zell. As you can see, our starter has asked the cars to begin moving. On the front row, we have Ralph Tasso and Gino Terrapicchio.
See if these two gentlemen continue their battle here for the lead position in this 25-lap event.
Now, once again, to reiterate about those flags, there's an American flag and an Italian flag on Terrapicchio's car?
Yes, what it is Gino is a second-generation driver. His dad, Luigi, used to drive that automobile before he, and in the early 1960s, just after immigrating here to the United States from Italy, Luigi wanted to show off his old home flag and his new home flag, and he put them up on the race car. They've been there ever since, no matter who has driven a Luigi Terrapicchio-owned automobile.
Luigi Terrapicchio and his son Gino Terrapicchio. Those aren't Italian names. Riley isn't Irish.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, Terrapicchio still having his hands full with the rookie chauffeur. Gentleman only started his racing career, Leandra, midway through the 1985 season. Ralph Tasso, and he barely misses somebody at the X.
All right, we have a red flag again, and the reason why is we have a spin out. A spin out in turn number 1.
Looks like car number 57, Bob Lohr, involved in the action. Looks like he just got out of shape. He hooked up with the number 97 at Jimmy Hulse. And they necessitate a caution. Look at Hulse go up in the air and into the wall. It's a little more severe than first thought.
Ouch.
Sometimes these cars, Leandra, get a little bit out of shape, and if a driver has to slow down to try to correct an ill-handling automobile, it can play havoc behind them.
We should add that both drivers are okay. We're going to take a timeout. When we reach the championship, we'll continue. You can see the officials are on the track trying to put the cars back in order. And Bob Finan, I think we owe our viewers an explanation of what they're trying to accomplish here.
Well, we have 3 scorers here in the press box of Riverhead. They score the race lap by lap. A restarting order is attained by going back to the last completed lap. Last completed lap, the order you were running, that's where you will restart. Right now, one of the drivers not agreeing with that restarting order.
So the officials are trying to straighten out some of the confusion here. Our Marty Reed is standing by. Remember, we've had a couple of spin-outs here, and one of them involves Dan Avendette. Marty Reed has corralled the number 3 car, and he's speaking with that driver right now.
Danny, we can hardly see you in there. What happened?
Well, there was traffic up in the 4th turn coming out, and we kind of tangled. I had no place to go. So I ran into somebody and I bent the upper A-frame, so we're trying to straighten it out now to get back out there.
You think you'll be able to get it?
Yeah, we'll get back out there. We'll give it a shot.
You can see the flames are firing everywhere as they're trying to put this car back together. The entire crew, it's non-stop frantic action as the race is yet to restart. And Danny Avendette shouting instructions to everybody, and there goes the sledgehammer. Leandra, do they do this in NASCAR and IndyCar racing?
Well, I don't know that they really see these sledgehammers out there, but they do whatever is necessary to get those cars back on the track during the caution flag. I don't know. Danny Avendette's got his work cut out for him.
Pit crew doing a fine job as well, Leandra. They're the guys that make these cars go on and off the racetrack. They do a lot of work as well in the shops. They also have to run about 200 yards away from the racetrack to get to their truck to do all this work. So they have to be sort of a world-class sprinter as well as a good mechanic to get all this work done.
The geographic location, right, of the track and the pits, and of course it's the luck of the draw where you're assigned your pit position. If you're far away in the pits, you can just about consider it a day if you get some damage to your tire or your car.
Danny's going to make it back out, minus the front nose piece.
But racing has already started here, and out in front we still see Gino Tirapicchio with the flags on his hood.
That's right, he's still being chased by Ralph Tasso, and right now Bobby Mason has joined the first 3 automobiles, so a good showing here early for the veteran, although he's now being challenged by George Brown. Brown and Mason side by side in that battle for position number 3 as Gino negotiates the intersection. This time it's relatively traffic-free.
And we've lost a few cars, so the intersection isn't too important. We do have one trailer there, but it's Tirapicchio and Casco still out in front.
Gino just trying to pace himself right now, not getting in too much trouble, although he's near miss right there. That's number 7 of Ray Peace, I believe it was, crisscrossing in front of him. Car getting out of shape coming through the X. Tasso has closed up that battle for the lead.
Gino Tirapicchio of Lake Ronkonkoma, Ralph Tasso from Bohemia.
Now they have some lap cars that were forced to stop at the X intersection. This also becomes very dangerous. Cars everywhere right now on this racetrack. There's a little spinning and a little stopping at the X has made it a little hairy, if you will, out there. Right now, the lead is coming up to lap Spencer Hulse, and a car stopped at the X, Paul Galvin, front of the 53.
You know, Marty had asked me about the NASCAR. So we have a collision here. Turn number 4. It's involving car number 37, Bob Belz. And I believe it's car number 73, Mike Mowatt.
Wow, Mike Mowatt's car really showing the signs of that collision. Have to take a look.
Right in the left top of your screen, you can see the spin out there. There's Mowatt.
And car number 11, Paul Grotewald, also involved. And Tom Kraft just barely slipping by in car number 9. Good piece of driving by Kraft.
There you see Bob Belz from Spartan Speedway. He's leaving the track. Mike Mowatt from Mount Clemens, Michigan. So we've got a couple of drivers from Michigan who drove all the way to New York to get in an accident.
They have to leave the racetrack at the same time, and I bet they don't even do that much out there at the Flat Rock Speedway or Spartan Speedway, where they usually compete.
So once again, we have the cars lining up, and our Marty Reed is in the pit with another interview, more information on this race.
Clemens, Michigan is the home of Shirley Muldowney and drag racing. It also happens to be the home of Mike Mowatt. Mike, it's been a long haul for you all the way here to Long Island, and it looks pretty bad right now.
Well, we're going to try and get it straightened out. Right now I got a couple guys from other crews. They've been pretty good to us here as far as jumping in and trying to give us a hand, make sure we're running.
While we're talking here, the front end is going up. The rear end also needs work. Is it hopeless, or is it one of these situations, never give up?
Never give up. Definitely never give up. We're going to try and go for it. If they get me back out there, I'm going to just run as hard as I can.
The pride of Mount Clemens, Michigan, as the crew thrashes away.
Thank you, Marty Reed. And the cars are lining up, but it looks like Danny Marcello isn't exactly happy with the order of go here. He's pulled out of the formation, and what's he doing?
Danny is very upset right now about something spinning around. Danny did not take the initial green flag, and I do believe the officials are not going to let him compete. He must take the initial green flag. And Danny's really putting some miles on those back tires right now. He's upset.
Is he just doing this to show anger? Is that...
I think that's about what he's doing. It's his form of protest right now about not being allowed to compete. Now he starts to move the car. Maybe he's going to go off the racetrack, although he is not heading towards the exit ramp.
So he's out of the race. As I understand it, he's not allowed to line up at the back of the pack at all.
Yeah,
he's out of there.
You must take the initial green flag. If you don't take the initial green flag, you're not in the race.
And here we see Dan Avendette is back in the racetrack. Oh, no, he's leaving the racetrack.
Danny's feeling
He
more
came
problems.
back on.
Yeah.
Had to have his A-frame straightened out. Evidently, there's some more malfunctions, but Danny Marcello is still...
And Marcello is just going to drive around the racetrack, Leandro. That's what it looks like to me. Somebody's going to have to stop him.
How? This is a tough predicament. Now, here's the starter going up to him and chastising him. This is Ray Marciano. Oh, he's pulling the wires.
Oh, he's pulling all the electronic, the spark plug wires out.
Look at Marciano. I don't believe it. Look at this.
I don't believe
Holy
it.
mackerel. They're going to miss Marciano. He's retired.
You know, Ray has been doing this for a long time, Leandro, and this has to be one of the most obscene things he's ever had to do.
I think we're going to have a exchange of words here. Marciano and Marcello yelling at each other.
Danny's had a temper all through his racing career. Big Bob O'Rourke, racing director here on Long Island, out there with his van. He weighs some 450 pounds. I don't think Danny wants to mess with him.
No, I would. Marciano's telling Marcello to get out of here. Marciano, I think, called for the tow truck to pull him out of here.
If this was a hockey game, he would have gotten a 10-minute misconduct and a game misconduct by now.
Possibly a game ejection. The Medal of Valor goes to Marciano for reaching in there and grabbing the wires.
You know, I'll tell you
Here
something.
we go.
Oh, where now? They both out there Italian up. Look
Welcome
out.
to boxing at Riverhead Raceway.
Danny's really upset. I've never seen Danny this upset. Security now on the racetrack. Chief security here out on the racetrack. He's a little bigger than Danny, so maybe Danny will listen to him.
And the tow truck has removed Marcello's car, and security is escorting Mr. Marcello from the track.
One of the wildest things I've ever seen in 15 years of the figure 8 racing that I've been witnessing, so.
I know it gets hot at the X intersection there, but look at this.
Now he's arguing with Chief Steward Walter Etzel is Mr. Marcello. The Chief Steward is what the referee is to a boxing match or a hockey game. And that's Walt Etzel's job right now, and he's telling Danny Marcello, look, you didn't take the green flag, you can't run the race. But Marcello obviously feels that explanation's not good enough.
Now we have Ralph Tasso. Where's he going? He was on the front. What?
Oh, the rookie campaigner has a left rear tire while leading the event.
What a tough break for Ralph Tasso. Now, if he changes the tire, he can come back out, but he has to go to the back of the pack.
Yeah, the rule is if you do perform work on your automobile, Leandra, in the pit area, you must go to the rear of the field, much like a Grand National automobile. When they make a pit stop, they obviously can't go back to their running position. They must rejoin the rear of the field. You see how far the pit crews have to run now.
Yeah, they have to sprint from watching the race to this position that they were assigned to just to change that tire. Meanwhile, they have to hope that the race doesn't start and they can get back out there to get in on it.
You see Roger Maynard, car number 28, he too making repairs on his automobile. So the pit's as busy as the racetrack right now while we're under the red flag conditions.
Tough break for Ralph Tasso.
Oh, you talk about heartbreak. That's it right there. If you had to make a definition for the word heartbreak, this is it. One of the neighboring crews also helping out. That's an interesting point here in figure 8 racing. Although they compete against each other, they bang fenders each and every week, they have a club out here, the Suffolk Association Figure 8 Racing. They have meetings, and all these guys are pretty much friends, and it's not unusual to see other pit crews helping out other drivers.
Since they don't go over the wall, there isn't a limited number of guys who can work on your car. We see quite a few fellows around the Ralph Tasso car.
Yeah, almost too many right
yeah.
now. Too many hands in the kitchen is no good, and that could be half the problem. Roger Maynard looks like he's changing an axle, by the way.
Tasso's coming back out onto the track, and real quick, I'd like to go over some more qualifications. The #1 car will be stripped down, just like NASCAR. You have to meet the specifications. You can only have a 2-barrel carburetor. High dome pistons are not allowed. You can only have the flat racing piston. No electric fuel pumps. And of course, the bumpers must be smooth. No cow catches. No rough or jagged edges. So there are some pretty strict rules on the specifications of these cars. Again, we brought up several times, 6-cylinder engines are ideal for this figure 8 track. But I do have to ask you, what is a cow catch?
Well, a cow catcher bumper, the front bumper has to resemble pretty much a stock bumper. A lot of guys used to come out with a lot of steel mounted almost 2 feet high in front of the automobile, almost looked like the front of a plow. And you're not allowed to have one of those. And somehow along the way, it got the nickname of cow catcher. There's Ray Mortuano, who may have gotten over the electrical shock he suffered.
His blood pressure's got to be up there.
Marcelo's wires out of his automobile. He's back to normal now, if you can call any of this normal.
All right. What a strange turn of events. Marcelo cleared his temper, and the starter agrees that everybody's in the right order.
Front row now will be Gino Terrificchio and sophomore driver Tom Ryan, car number 09. As Tasso has to go to the back of the pack and he loses that lead position. So Terrificchio now inherits the lead with Ryan running second. Second row behind them, John Fort and George Brown, who is known affectionately here at Riverhead Raceway as Downtown George Brown. The green flies. Scattered action in front of the pack right now, but as they string out coming through the straightaway, it's Terrificchio followed by Ryan. Good battle for position number 3 right now, side by side. Car number 34, John Fortin and George Brown. And Tom Kraft has worked his way up towards the front of the pack, one of our heat race winners here this afternoon.
It's still Terrificchio out in front, followed by Ryan, and now we can see that intersection's becoming more and more important.
You got to remember, the front of the pack is going faster and faster, and the back markers might be getting slower and slower. Look out now.
The back of the pack yields as Terrificchio plows through the intersection. We should add that they go about 55 miles an hour through that intersection. They don't slow down for anything.
And right now, George Brown has moved up to position number 2. John Fort is third, and I do not understand what happened to Tom Ryan, although now we see what happened to Tom Ryan as a red flag comes out. There's
a tire on the track. Somebody...
Tom Ryan.
Ryan lost the
running
tire.
second. Lost the tires. You see his car sitting disabled on the back straightaway here at Riverhead.
And we saw that Mike Mowatt got back into the race in time. The 73 car. As you look at Tom Ryan sitting on 3 wheels.
Taking a look at that left front wheel, and it broke off. He might be thinking about making repairs. We don't know. He just might be looking things over. Oh, now he's entered a jog, so I guess that the
he's gonna try to get his equipment.
He thinks he can get back in this thing. Watch out.
Ooh, look at that. That's hot.
Well, I think Tom's
He's trying to entertain the crowd here. Oh, he's using it for a potholder.
Another good use for a fire suit.
All right, he'll go to the pits, try to fix things up and come back out. And we're going to go to a break and try to straighten things out. Runs deep. We've got Bobby Mason helping Tom Ryan in the pits as he tries desperately to get back onto the track, but I don't think they're going to make it. These cars are lining up and getting ready to take the green flag as racing resumes in this championship final. And there you see the green flag, and our leader right now is number 41, George Brown.
George Brown asserts himself as the race leader for the first time this afternoon. Traffic still at the X. Rather heavy as Ed Dunlap, car number 7, and Paul Galvin have to brake before they can proceed.
For Ed Dunlap. Now watch what happens here. They come up right behind him again, and he can't get started. This is George Brown of Stayville. Has the lead. Gino Terrificchio of Lake Ronkonkoma in second.
Good battle for third, right behind the leaders. Leandra, you want to keep our eyes on it. Tom Kraft and John Fortin, car number 34, have been going back and forth in that position with Bill Steen riding fifth.
This is Tom Kraft.
There's a little Mustang 2 for the viewers out there who have their eyes out on the tight cars they're running. Terrificchio in 74 runs a Vega, and George Brown in car number 41 runs a AMC Hornet body machine. Mike Mowatt from Michigan with his battered race car had to stop at the X, and the leaders had to work their way to his right flank and get by at the X. That's also a dangerous part about figure 8 racing. Cars that stop at the X and then try to pick up speed while the leaders bear down on them.
This is George Brown, still our leader, followed by Gino Terrificchio.
I bet you Luigi Terrapicchio, Gino's dad, former figure 8 competitor, biting the fingernails right now. Look out.
And he's widening the lead.
Brown has got things pretty much under control. I'd say it's about a 2-car length advantage right now. Again, though, the traffic
The traffic is going to hurt this race for George Brown. Terrapicchio closing in.
A lot of figure 8 drivers will tell you that it is best to be in about the 3rd or 4th position in a figure 8 race, late in the race, just in case those leaders really have to hit the brake pedal at the X. You have the momentum, and you can go through, and it is getting hairy out there.
Again, 55 miles an hour through the X. As the leaders catch up with the back of the pack, and this is scary.
Oh, man, lap traffic also playing havoc with the leaders. The intersection, they have to have eyes in the back of their head right at this point. That battle for 3rd continuing to rage on. Just 2 laps to go, Leandra. All the poker players are going to have to show their hands here. No holding back now. Lapped automobile, Dan Watts, car number 12, right in front of the leaders. They're going to have to try and work by him as the white flag flies.
All right, and it is still car number 41 out in front.
George Brown, just 2 more turns, and he'll be the new world champion. Oh, look out!
Terrapicchio tapped him. Now remember, car number 12 is the lap car, so car number 9, Kraft, is our
Gino Terrapicchio takes the checkered flag. Wild goings on. Turns 3 and 4.
That looks a little shady to me.
I don't know.
Let's take another look at it.
Brown is going conservatively, and Terrapicchio
He tapped him.
doesn't look as though he ever hit the brakes. Terrapicchio continues on. Kraft in car number 9 continues on with Fortin pressuring him. And I don't know, but Terrapicchio takes the checkered flag. And George Brown.
Oh, he came back out.
He's
Look at him.
upset. Oh, Brown is upset.
Oh, dear. Looks like another job for Ray Marciano. Oh, all the way up on his wheel.
George Brown now looking over Gino saying, hey, come on, buddy. What's going on here? What's with the...
$1,000 at stake here, and of course what this means for George Brown is he gets no money. He didn't finish in the top 3.
No, he'll be relegated down further in the top 10. But right now, the World Figure 8 champion, since car number 74, the Italian and American flags fly for Gino Terrapicchio. And a lot of wild goings on here, Leandra. I'll tell you, I've been watching this World Championship Figure 8 race for the better part of 15 years now at both Islip and Riverhead. I've never seen this kind of unpredictable and wild action before.
Now, they haven't handed him the checkered flag yet. It looks like there's more controversy.
Track announcer Mike Kalanoff down there, but...
They're black flagging him.
Wait a minute. Wait.
They're throwing him out.
Marciano says no soap.
So the checkered flag will go to the Kraft.
I think Tom Kraft was 2nd place. Remember, I said Walter Edsel, and here comes your world champion right now, Tom Kraft. Walter Edsel, the Chiefs too. We saw arguing with Dan Marcel before. He's like a referee in a hockey game. He's handed out a penalty to Gino Terrapicchio. Tom Kraft is your new world champion. Kraft was in the pits, ready to have a cold drink after this hot afternoon of racing here, and now he finds himself $1,000 richer and world figure 8 champ.
So some strange goings on as Tom Kraft of Central Islip wins his figure 8 championship.